Today's adventure begins as I drive to downtown Celebration as a recording of this Wednesday, July 10th, 2024. Start off with the coffee. Alright, I accomplished the goal of a coffee over here at Starbucks. Today's going to basically be a walk and talk, just a little peruse around Lake Reinhardt here. Welcome everyone, Adam the Woo here. Piping hot, caffeinated beverage achieved. Walking past the Celebration Hotel. So a few days ago was the 12-year, the dozen-year anniversary of TheDailyWoo, a channel I started as a second channel, a daily vlog channel, a follow-up and a more personal view, if you will, of what I do all the time, as opposed to my main Adam the Woo channel. But this has kind of become my main channel. And that got me thinking, why have I been doing it this long? And what is the key to its moderate progression and or, I don't call it success, but moderate doing well? What has been the key to that? And that's kind of the subject I want to talk about. I believe that I have built a career on consistency. What does that mean exactly? I'm inviting you to join me. Let's talk. Shall you? On New Year's Eve 2009, starting basically, let's call it New Year's Day 2010, I uploaded my first video on the Adam the Woo channel. Started doing some abandoned stuff, things like that. But in July, so a few years after that, well, a couple years, 2.5 years after that, here on TheDailyWoo, I started a video where I was in my van and I stated how I was going to document a video each and every day. Didn't know what it was going to be. In fact, the first few months, if you go back and watch some of those, are pretty horrendous. They're only about a minute long. I didn't know what it was going to be. I had no clue what this was going to morph into. And it has since morphed over the years into many different styles, iterations of a daily vlog. And I think now I've kind of come into the groove a little bit, where it's just kind of, I just show my day. Didn't really start off that way. It was kind of me jumping out of a swing or going down a skate ramp or running around a baseball field and sliding into home. It just made no sense. There was no subject matter to it. It was just kind of like me flailing around, yelling and screaming, and that was kind of it. But I knew there was something that was going to come of it, and it eventually did. And just to kind of go back to what I was saying there at the intro, I feel like the reason I am at the point in my life I'm at now, the reason I was able to purchase a house here in Celebration, got the golf cart, able to fly places, travel, get hotels, do the things I want to do, is not because I have put out a series of videos every so often that are mind-blowing, that have gone viral, that have, you know, every couple weeks or every week or every month put something out, and one of those just goes insanely popular to where I get, you know, some AdSense off that, monetization off that. Really, in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, I've kind of strayed away from that formula and just basically the consistency. And by me doing that, it affords me to survive, live a life, travel, not live in a van anymore, which is how I started. I never realized when I started YouTube at all that anyone, well, including myself, well, me myself, would ever make a dime off of it. In fact, it took me a couple years before I even became a partner. It was called the AdSense partner. Now anybody on any level can put AdSense. I think if you have 1,000 subs or more, you can put ads on your videos. I don't think I put an ad on my video till I had about 8,000 subscribers. Didn't really start making any money for a couple years after that. The first time I ever recall being like, I think I could probably do something with this to where I could afford things, was when I originally moved to Orange County, California at the Orange Circle in 2015. That would have been January, maybe early February 2015. I lived with 3 other people in a house. It was $2,000 a month. We each paid $500. Over time, that number dwindled. A couple of the roommates moved out. My girlfriend and I broke up, so that I had to foot the $2,000 a month bill. I did that for a few months, barely was able to afford that. That's when I decided, heck it, I'm just gonna sell off all my stuff, go back into the van, travel in the van, and that was when this channel kind of really took off quite a bit. That's when it kind of, I don't say skyrocketed, but that's when the progression really happened, was me being on the road. But ever since that moment, I've always had a little trickling of money coming in. Nothing too crazy, but just slowly but surely, through consistency and uploading, filming daily, doing this kind of 24-hour challenge to myself, always going out, filming something, putting something out each and every morning. Now into 2017, I took a break for 3 or 4 months. I worked on some big videos. But then I kind of came back in early 2008, 2017, I took a break at the end of that year. And then I guess like early spring of 2018, started to go back to the daily again. I've been pretty consistent since then. And I have to say, I have a rejuvenated excitement, almost like I haven't felt in a very long time since I've got my passport. Because next year, I'll be doing all the international stuff. And I don't think I'm going to stop uploading on the daily channel. I think I'm going to continue doing it. Anybody that's been watching me for a long time knows I change my mind all the time. And I'm changing my mind. I'm just going to keep going. I am really excited about the future. When I first bought the house at the end of last year, New Year's-ish, I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to retire from uploading very consistent everyday vlogs. And I'm going to focus on doing like a video podcast. I'm going to stay home. It's time for me to retire from the daily vlog aspect. And I know now that that's the wrong decision, because there's so much I need to do. When I see how many countries there are that I can go to and showcase what they have there and inspire me to see new things, learn new things about the world, I think it's only just the beginning. I think really it's kind of the start of a new era. Now, I will say, after New Year's, there will be some days off. It might not be able to go every single day, because there might be, I'm going to try not to miss days, but there might be some issues with upload speeds, especially if I do cruising and things like that. If I'm out on a cruise, I won't have good Wi-Fi. So that's the little asterisk. It might not be every day, but it's still going to be very, very consistent. But the Daily Woo, I'm here to say, is not going anywhere. There's going to be a rejuvenated focus. The consistency is going to continue. Again, the consistency is the key to what, in my opinion, my version of success. I mean, success is in the eye of the beholder, but I feel very blessed and successful to be at the point I'm at now. And it all stems from me having a crazy mindset to just never stop. There's been many days where I have not been in the mood mentally to want to go out and do stuff. I'm always, knock on wood, thankfully, in the last few years, I haven't been ill and I haven't been unhealthy enough to go out, which is another thing on the reason with the whole podcast thing and the video podcast. I got to thinking, why would I want to kind of pigeonhole myself into that world at home when I am, healthy and able and young enough and active enough to just travel? Why would I want to completely change up the formula and go on to the next thing? I'm asking you, Squirrel. You have any opinions on this? No opinions? So I think now's the time to just continue traveling. Step it up a notch. I've only done US, with the exception of Tijuana and brief amount of Canada, which I don't think I did a couple Canada videos. Did I? Maybe I didn't. I went on tour there. Maybe I did do any videos in Canada. Also, I have been to 49 of the 50 states. And I'm here to announce I have booked a flight. I have booked a hotel. Well, I hadn't booked a hotel yet. I booked a flight to and fro. I am going to my 50th state before the end of this year. That way, by the end of this year, I will, if all goes well, will have done all 30 current MLB stadiums while rooting for the Tampa Bay Rays, my team. I don't know if anyone's ever gone that hasn't been affiliated with the team in some facet. if anyone has gone to all 30 stadiums while rooting for the Rays. Maybe they've done it for rooting for their team, but I don't know if anyone's done it for the Rays. If so, I would like to meet them and we could go to a game together. So that will be knocked off the list. The second list I will be accomplishing by the end of this year, well, I will have accomplished all 50 states. It's taken me a long time to get there, but all 50 of the US states will be accomplished. I'm going to Alaska before the end of the year, and it might be snowing. It's later this year, so that's going to be interesting. Which opens up the door for 24. I like that. It opens up the door for 24. International is on. Consistency. It really has. I mean, if you want to call this a career, I wouldn't call this a job. I don't feel like I'm getting up to go to work. I mean, I guess in a roundabout way, it kind of is a job. Like if I stopped and I hired someone else, like if someone was walking over here and I go, hey, do you want to do what I do? Pick up this camera, film all day, edit at night, upload it, put the video up the next day. They would say, yeah, and this is how much I will pay you to do that. They would probably go back to their friends and family and go, check out this job I got. And those folks would say, man, that's a pretty good job. So in that way, I guess you could look at it. But when you're doing it for yourself and you're self-employed, you don't look at it as a job. I just look at it as something I'm doing, worked to this point, and I'm at the point now where I like what I'm doing. I kind of like going out, filming things. I feel like it's good for my soul. It's good for my well-being. I would say I guess you could say personal health, but just good for my well-being. It keeps me active. I feel good when I go out. I don't like sitting around and doing things. And I feel like there might be a percentile of people out there that enjoy seeing a daily upload, no matter what it is. Maybe. And I know they can't all be home runs. In fact, very few of these are anymore home runs. Some of them are like a good solid base hit, or maybe even a double. Every once in a while I'll get a, deep into the gap, a left field triple, round in third. But they can't all be home runs, nor do I really want them to be. There are plenty of people out there, plenty of people that have far more superior videos, detailed research videos, once a week, once every couple weeks, 2 times a week, that put so much time, effort, research, and they should be commended. There's a lot of them out there. You probably know who they are. Easily, you could go through your subscriber list and find and realize, okay, Adam's got a different format with some other people that I watch, and that's fine. Everybody has their method. My method has morphed into what it is now, and I know it works for me. And by me doing this method, it really, as I said, has made me financially able to travel. And I'm going to embrace that. I know it is a blessing to be able to say that I can just be able to go on a plane and go wherever I want and film that. And I don't think I would be able to do that, be in the position I'm able to do that, without the consistency of doing everyday uploads for 12 years. 11 and a half years if you want to count a little bit of a break. That's how I make money. It's been quite a few years since I had any kind of crowdfunding. Stopped selling any merchandise. By the way, if there's any merchandise online that bears my name, it's not from me. It's from it's a bootleg or a third party that I do not approve of, but that's a whole other story. I do not sell any merchandise. I do not ask for anything in return, except if you are interested in the subject matter. It's always in the title. It's always going to be listed at the top what I'm doing. If that doesn't interest you, I understand. But if it does, I appreciate you watching, and that is how I make the income. I don't do any live streams, no super chat. I'm not ever going to ask you for anything money-wise, monetary-wise. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe, give a thumbs up, share the video, none of that. I am just grateful that anyone that has somehow found my channel has, because the way the money thing works is I put ads on the videos. Usually I'll put one at the beginning, one around 6 or 7 minutes, and one around 14 minutes. And if the video is really long, I might throw another one 7 minutes after that. Try not to go too heavy on the ads. But that's been my method for a long time. And because I'm doing, anywhere between 28 to 31 videos a month, depending on how many days are in the month of that year, and then you got all the residuals from a dozen years of content, plus 400 videos over on the TheDailyWoo channel, I honestly don't need those other things, because the consistency, no matter what your opinion is of the videos, what my opinion is of each video that's uploaded every day, sometimes I'm like, oh, this isn't the best video. But because I put the video up, it creates the ability financially for me to be able to continue on without needing those other things. It doesn't work for everyone, but it works for me. I can only speak for myself. What I have melded into, I keep using the word morphed into, what I have transformed into is because of that formula. Now there may come a point down the road where I might have to do those other things, but I hope not. I really hope that day will never come, and I don't think it ever will unless there is a drastic change in the platform, or if I wasn't doing this on a consistent basis, which I have no plans. If I stopped being consistent, I would just stop. That's the way my mind is. I go 100% into anything or not at all. When I am into something, I'm all in. When I'm not into something, I don't care. That's just kind of how I am. So yeah, I've talked about this a couple years ago, maybe a year ago. Every so often I bring this up. People always ask, where do you get the money to do things? Did not grow up wealthy, did not grow up rich. My family, also not in that category as well, was flat broke, working a job. Quit my job on August 9th, the day before my birthday, 2011. Moved in the van, started traveling, did not start making really any income probably until 2015, years later. I mean, I had a little bit here and there, a couple $100 a month off of the YouTube. But then I was able to start building that up a little bit, and every year since, it has gone up a little bit more. Each year, I have made a little bit more than I made the year before, and that was even after I stopped all those aforementioned things. They say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Well, I kind of did, and it kind of worked out for me. So that old adage doesn't necessarily work for everyone. Again, worked for me. I went all in. There was a time, I think the last live stream I did was when I lived in Hollywood, 2017, 18, 19-ish. No, 2017. Let's call it 2017-ish, give or take a year. I did my last live stream. I was on the Hollywood Boulevard. Oh no, actually, that same time frame, I went to San Diego Comic-Con. I was with Justin Scard, my buddy Count Stankus out in California. We went to Comic-Con, and that was the last live stream I ever did. But it was when I was living in Hollywood before I moved down to Anaheim for a couple years, and then a couple years later, moved out here. So it's been 6 years, 7 years ago. And I thought to myself, if I stop doing these and stop doing the super chat, stop doing all that, what if I just devote more time to the videos and being consistent in the daily vlogs and see how that pans out? And I actually started making more based on that than I did when I was taking a day off of the videos and doing like the live streams. And then I just got kind of got a new mental thought of how the merchandise should work and how I didn't really want to charge anyone for merchandise. I stopped the Patreon, stopped all that stuff. And I just wanted to kind of do away with the merch. Now, I would like to, at some point, maybe have merchandise again to give away, but I don't know how I would do that. I don't want to do the whole sticker thing again. But I can assure you, I am doing just fine. I'm sure if anyone that's been watching my videos over the last couple of years, I'm doing fine as far as uploading the videos off of the arsenal of videos that I have over the last 12 years. I get residual income from those. Plus, I have 30 new videos every month. I get about anywhere on very low, about 33, 35,000 views, up to 100,000 views, times 30, plus all the other months, 12 months times 12 years, 144 months of residuals, plus the new month, plus the TheDailyWoo channel, plus savings. So again, I am taking this blessing that has just worked out in my favor. I almost crossed my fingers. I don't need to cross my fingers. is worked out in my favor. I am taking that blessing and I'm going to utilize this, and I'm just going to go. I'm just going to travel. I'm going to see the world. Yeah, very grateful for the interwebs. There's a lot of negativity and bad stuff on these are cypress knees. A lot of negativity on the internet, a lot of bad things. But I can handle that. I can comprehend that. And I get that. I get different opinions. Everyone's got different thoughts. But the reality is, without that, I would never be where I'm at now. Probably working at a retail store still. Oh, it's down there. Would not be able to travel, not be able to live the life I'm living. So I appreciate anyone that tunes in. There's people who've been watching a long time. Shout out to you. You guys are awesome. Just hard to believe how long this train's been running. Again, I think this is only the beginning. I might look back on this year and say, wow, that was the last year of the repetitive US content. It's also interesting. I always like throwing in new, like everyone kind of knows, oh yeah, Adam's going to do a flight video. Adam's going to go do a baseball video. But there was a time when I was really hesitant. And the reason I even started doing the flight stuff is because I had a couple layovers one day. It was going to be from dawn till dusk. I was going to be on a plane. Like, when I get off the plane, what am I going to go film? I got to do a daily video. So I thought, I'm just going to film the flight. And it worked out. People enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of a neat thing to showcase what it would be on different flights and things like that. And that eventually became a series. And the baseball stuff, I was really, really hesitant to ever film a baseball game. I was like, I want to get back into the sport, get back into going to baseball games. Should I film it? And I did. And that's kind of become a thing now. So again, I think the international stuff, because the baseball stuff after this year is going to take an extreme step back when it comes to content on the videos. I'm still going to go to games here and there, but it's not going to be anything like I've been traveling a lot trying to knock off these stadiums. I got 5 left. 5 left. And the stadiums, current stadiums are done. Of course, new stadiums will be built over time. Teams will play in other stadiums during exhibition games. Not exhibition games, but when they do, MLB does certain teams will play at other stadiums that don't normally play at. And hopefully the Rays are going to be a part of that, and I can see them in those as well. As time goes on, I probably eventually will build the Woodio, the studio. And I will eventually at some point do the video podcast and all that, but now's not the time. Now's not the time. Again, once I got the passport, I saw to see how many countries I could start going to. It's just going to open up the floodgates. And I know, I'll be the first to admit it. A lot of the stuff I do fits a format. I try to throw in new things, but I've covered the U.S. and I covered a lot of spots multiple times. And the theme of 2025 is going to be going to places that I've never been. And that is just going to be so awesome. It's like a new rejuvenation, a new chapter in my life and the life of this channel. It's the Daily Woo. You know what's also interesting too about the consistency thing, and sometimes you wake up and you're like, yeah, it'd be kind of nice to take a day off. I don't even tell you the last time I took a day off. I just go out and film, which is kind of a burden on people that I know, and sometimes friends and family. They put up with it, but I know it's got to be difficult on that aspect as well. Sometimes when I'm like with my mom and dad, I just think my mom will even say, why don't you take a couple days off? I said, I don't know. I don't know why I don't take a couple days off. I honestly don't know why. I just know that in my mind I must be consistent. That's the only thing that works for me. Consistency. I could be wrong. Maybe the consistency is not the key. But it has worked in my case. Consistency is the key to my career. Yeah. It's a good catchphrase. Consistency is key. And that goes with anything. I am a creature of habit. I can create a habit almost instantly. If I eat well for like a few days, I can eat well for a few weeks. If I eat poorly for a couple days, I will continue down that eating poorly. By the way, I've been losing some weight. Haven't done a weigh-in yet, but 50, I think, is in 31 days. As far as the rest of this year goes, I'm in town for about another week, give or take a day. The reason I always say the give or take a day is because sometimes I don't have the exact calendar in front of me, and I don't want to give specifics on what day I'm leaving, so I try to do the whole give or take a day, and sometimes I'm just guesstimating. But in about a week or so, give or take a day, I will be departing. And in that time frame between a week from now until the end of September, I'm only going to be home for about 5 or 6 days. I'm going to be gone a lot. And then I will be home a little bit in October, gone a lot in November, and gone a lot of December. And then January, we'll start the international travels heavily. All new stuff. So I appreciate you bearing with me. Some people like what I have been doing immensely. They like the consistency of the usual, the comfort, what do you like, not a comfort food in vlog form of seeing the same thing all the time. And I can appreciate that because I have comfort things that I like to see too. Not quite comfort foods per se, but just comfort things that I like to do, places I like to go. They're comforting to me. And I'm going to get out of my comfort zone next year. So I hope you're along for the ride. It might fail miserably. Maybe no one will care, but I will care. And that's what matters. I mean, it matters that you care too, but it matters that I am enjoying it enough to go and do it. And I feel like that kind of hopefully comes across in these videos, that I'm doing what I truly enjoy. And that's part of the reason I do the same 5 things over and over and over, because that's what I really enjoy. And I'm ready to find some new things to enjoy. That's going to do it for today. Thanks for listening. Again, just to reiterate, my career and the reason I am able to make money and survive and buy the things I have bought, I mean, I was very, very unwealthy for a long time. Actually, until I quit my job, started traveling, started doing this YouTube, until a couple years ago, I never really had any kind of savings. Now I have a little bit of savings. I bought a house, bought some things. I'm able to travel, do things like that. So it's been a fun ride. Yeah, when I think back to 2011, when I quit my job and did the first massive road trip in my van, and was out for a month. I came back out of that month, didn't sleep in a hotel. And that continued for quite a few years. Couldn't even afford a hotel. In fact, there is a video somewhere out there, probably was 2014, 13 or 14. I've been in the van a couple years. And I stayed in a Motel 6. And basically it's an unedited video of me just losing my mind that I was in a Motel 6. I was so happy that I was able to scrape together the money and get a hotel room for the night, not sleep in the van. You know, just saying that out loud kind of makes me a little emotional. Just thinking how things have progressed, and wish I could go back and tell myself then that it would all work out. $2025. All about that international. Really going to do my best to showcase the international travels. It's going to be a second wind for me. I mean, it's still half a year off, but it'll be here before I know it. Call it the second wind of the Daily Woo. I mean, obviously I'm not going to be sleeping in a vehicle going that route, but it'll be something new and fresh and kind of in a 2025 modern day version of kind of how I started this channel. And it is much needed. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. The vlog is over.